Good morning, everyone. To those of you that are virtual and in live here, I'm Selene Faladian, head of sports trading cards at eBay, and I couldn't be more excited to co-moderate today's session, Turning Passion into Profit. It's wonderful to see such an incredible mix of people from across the collectible community gathered here today. Before we dive in, I have a quick question for you. How many of you can think of an item, maybe a card, comic, or coin, that instantly brings back a memory or story? It's a good show of hands. The feeling right there is what this session is all about, turning those passions into something bigger.
I love that. Thanks, Selene. I'm Jacob, the category manager for coins, comics, and toys, and I'll be co-moderating today's panel alongside Selene. For me, it really all started when I realized there was a real marketplace for vintage wrestling cards. As I dove deeper, I was able to find a consignor, a trusted one on eBay, who was able to list and sell my cards, and from that moment on, I was hooked. I wanted more. And that sparked that connection, that passion between opportunity, exactly what brings today, why we're all here today. And we think that when we're thrilled to have this panel of sellers with us to share their experiences, both in times of strategy, lessons, and things they've learned along the way. Whether it's trading cards, coins, comics, or other memorabilia, they've always been much more than just objects. They're stories, they're memories, they're pieces of history that connect all of us, places of time, or with each other. And what's fascinating in today's world, it's no longer just a hobby. It's a legitimate, real business that all of you have made and continue to help grow, fuel, and innovate. And back to you, Selene.
Before we dive into the panel discussion, let me set the stage for today's discussion. First, we'll hear what inspired each of our panelists to pursue collectibles as a business and how they identified opportunities to grow in a competitive space. Then we'll touch on the challenges they faced and the innovative strategies that helped them succeed, whether that's adapting to new technology, scaling inventory, or meeting the expectations of today's savvy collector. And finally, we'll open up for your questions. This is your chance to learn from some of the best in the business, so as you listen, think about insights you can take back to elevate your own approach to collectibles at eBay. So let's get started. Please join Jacob and I in welcoming our incredible panelists, Drew Hester, Ali Mir, and Darius DiMartino. So to kick things off, I'd love for each of you to briefly introduce yourself and share one thing you're most passionate about in your business and the community you've built around them. Let's start with you, Drew.
Hi, my name is Drew Hester. I'm with Greg Morris Cards. My one major passion in going to work every day is finding that next new treasure and hearing that next new story for collectors.
Ali?
My name's Ali Mir. I own A&Z Comics. I'm really passionate about vintage. I think one of my favorite things to do is just go to see a large collection, dig through it, and find that kind of rare find.
Hi, I'm Darius DiMartino. I'm the owner of Toy Cabal. My passion came about a little bit before COVID. I ran multiple medical clinics, and then as COVID began, most of those shut down, and I had to explore new paths. I've been a lifelong collector of toys and collectibles of that nature, and we started down this path of live sales exclusively, and it grew very, very large, very fast, and I was able to just build communities. My passion's always been about connecting people as a group of all economic brackets and bringing them together in a space they can enjoy and really grow together. So that's my biggest passion, is connecting those groups of people in a space that I also personally enjoy.
That's
Great.
awesome.
Thank you.
That's great.
So let's dive in. First question, when you look at the growth of your business, what do you identify as the 1 to 2 key drivers? Are there any specific segments within collectibles that are really fueling the growth for you right now? Let's start with you, Drew.
When it comes to growing our business, the 2 key drivers that stand out the most would be consistency and transparency. These are extremely vital in how we build and maintain relationships with our customers. In today's world where AI is taken over rapidly, you could lose a sense of trust and transparency sometimes, especially with your clients. I find it very crucial in the collectible space when you want to build something that displays authenticity and honesty, because those are the most important things. Customers need to believe that they're getting the most genuine version of your brand. Consistency plays a major role in this because they will constantly be waiting to see the next big thing that's coming up or the next big product that you're going to be selling. When customers know what to expect and that you'll deliver it every time, it lays the foundation for lasting relationships.
Great, thank you. Darius, how about you?
Some key drivers, being in the collectible space, we're really connected to social engagement, meaning influencers tend to drive popularity of certain items, whether it's the new set of Pokemon is particularly popular, or there's some cards that are grading really well, or the new Funko that came out that's limited to X pieces is really driving it. So for us, it's staying in tune with understanding that the marketing shifts from like the 90s with the Hasbro ads and all these different things driving, like get your kids to go buy, I don't know, creepy crawlers, whatever it is, right? Now it's, influencers going out like Rihanna wearing Labubu, and all of a sudden, 5 seconds later, everybody's buying Pop Mart. You know what I mean? Like, influencer-driven sales is one of the big factors for us. And so just staying in tune with what is most interesting at the moment, but also you have to have a brand that you're known for. So staying connected to your core audience and continuously trying to find, okay, this is popular now, let's see if we can get in on it, know enough about it, provide it at a fair value, and just keep it moving. So it's a combination of this.
Great.
That's great.
Thank you. Ali, how about you?
eBay Live has been the single best growth factor for us, but it's not easy just as joining eBay Live. We've built an infrastructure around it. We've hired additional staff, equipment, and through eBay Live, we've moved from comics to other categories, including Funko Pops, which have really taken off for us lately. And that has allowed us to really scale.
That's great.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'd really like to ask, this question particularly to you, Darius. And, in today's economic climate with things like inflation, global events making headlines, have you felt these types of ripple effects on your business? And, obviously, what types of opportunities have you had to navigate some of these challenges?
So being in like a toys and collectible space, people often on the live streams, they'll see that like whoa, we're doing crazy stuff, we're going to sell toys, we're doing this, that, and the other. They're going to see the enthusiasm that comes through. But there's a lot of these collectibles do have upper echelons. That's the thing. Whether it's a Funko Pop, a comic book, a sports card, it doesn't matter. There's like this infinite ceiling that we tend to bring those groups together in. So some of them that we, during the peaks of COVID, were selling, there were items that would sell for 15 to 20 to upwards of $250,000 in the Funko space, for example. And since that point in time, they've cooled off for market reasons and interest and other reasons. I mean, I can go and list them, it'll take forever, but the point is it's cooled down since COVID, maybe 25 to 50% in that category. But in that same time, the collectors that were really enthusiastic, there was a huge funnel that was filled, and now they're just less interested in that particular vein of collecting. So they're diversifying, but because of the current climate and finances of America, they're gonna diversify into things that are fun, but they feel safe investing into. So they might say, I'm going to buy Pokemon instead of this because I feel like there's more people asking for it. So if I buy this and I want to get out of this tomorrow, at least I can recoup 60 to 70% ARV or whatever it is of what I spent. And so you're starting to get much more selective purchasing from your average collector out there. And that's where, like I was mentioning before, just being in tune with, I'm still a Funko guy. I love it. I've loved that company to death. I know the owners. I'm just a big fan. But we also do comics. We also do sports cards. We also do Pokemon. We also do different collectibles. Gold and silver is your area, man. But trying, you know what I mean? But we'll still try. But any store that tries to niche down into one specific category, I think in the current climate, because of those things I mentioned, you need to start diversifying a little bit further than what you normally would be comfortable with, personally speaking.
I love that. Really just looking for safe items, but items that are familiar.
Yeah.
Great. This next question is to all three of you. Sourcing is often half the battle in the business. What sourcing strategies have you found to be most successful in consistently finding the right inventory for your business? Ali?
I find working with other sellers that might have a market where they get a lot of product in, but they're not able to move it as fast is an excellent way to get inventory. We're currently working with a partner in Chicago where they're the only seller within 100 miles selling Funko Pops. So they have a vast inventory that they just don't know what to do with. So we partner with them for inventory for our needs. And we look to Facebook to advertise, newspaper, like you wouldn't believe the kind of collections you get from just advertising in our local Houston Chronicle newspaper.
So let's expand on that a little bit. Do you ever find, or are you concerned with the authenticity of products that you actually find on Facebook or in newspapers?
Well, I think just like probably everyone else here, there's always someone trying to sell a fake Pokemon card. You just have to know what to look for, in terms of seeing that, okay, this item is a little too blurry. There's something off about the product. Trust your gut when it comes to that. But when it comes to, like, when we're advertising on the newspaper, those are usually more long-term collectors where we feel way more comfortable that this is an authentic collection versus, a random person coming off the street.
Great. Thank you. Drew?
Yeah, I mean, everybody in this room knows that sourcing is probably the #1 key driver to your business. Most of the success comes down to one thing. It is sourcing. It's the most important part of being a top seller, especially on eBay. Today I've found 2 key drivers that help with the sourcing besides brand recognition. That would be social media and attending trade shows or local events, but making sure that you're always visible and always in people's faces. Kind of live and die by the old marketing strategy that it takes someone 3 times to actually recognize your name or your brand. So to always make yourself, more visible, have more face-to-face. They'll definitely, help build your sourcing, to say. That visibility makes it easy to find products, and especially if you go to trade shows, always being around, you'll either find the next thing that walks in the door or possibly the next thing that's brought to another vendor that you could work with.
Thank you.
That's great.
Darius?
There isn't a singular path to success in sourcing. I mean, there isn't. I can't tell you that we do a thing. It is one of the most diverse ways, and as Drew said, one of the most important things to your business is the ability to acquire inventory at a price point that you can exit it and make money for your business and expand for your company and others. One of the things that we really try to focus on, especially after going from being more niche in a specific category that I'm an expert in, there's like undeniable in this category, I can talk to you for hours about this, but now I'm a dilettante in these others and I'm learning and I'm becoming more of a layman and a journeyman in these areas. You're always going to be presented with this, I've got a $20,000 guaranteed no fail, you're going to make all this money opportunity for you, come in and pick it up. And you're going to go in and you're going to say, well, I'm looking at the comps on eBay and I'm seeing it that this thing is, I could buy it for 20, I could flip it for 40 right now, but you're not looking at sales velocity, you're not looking at your current customer base or your current sales platforms and what you're particularly known for, and you've done 0 attempts to do it. So every new expansion point that we go into, we operate as a mechanic. When I was younger, I was familiar with what's called JIT inventory. It's just in time, which was a methodology used by the Japanese auto manufacturers when they were rolling out Honda and other Japanese vehicles. It was just enough inventory for them to fulfill orders and manufacturing demands. With all of our verticals, we try to maintain a forecast of how much we expect to sell through in 30, 60, 90 days and make sure that we have enough inventory coming in with some exceptions and outliers of an explosively successful day, just enough to balance out those 30, 60, 90 turnover windows and not have anything left from that original purchase at the end of 90 days. It's all gone and we're on to the next lot. That'd be my recommendation on that.
That's a great response. Thanks.
That's awesome.
Our next question is for Drew and Ali. Building a loyal customer base is crucial to your business. With so many options out there for collectors, what are some of your go-to tools, tips, or even secret tricks you use to not only attract but also keep your core customers coming back for more?
Loyalty and transparency are extremely key here. They go hand in hand. Loyalty is given by the experience you create for the buyer. The two things that drive this are displaying a premium authentic products consistently, and I believe having great customer service. Customer service is becoming kind of like a lost art in this industry or any sales industries. Kind of doesn't exist. But finding a common ground to tailor to your demographic is extremely important. Greg Morris Cards has always been known as like the vintage leaders, and one thing that we've really focused on lately is trying to see where our demographic is going and where other demographics are going, kind of similar to what you said. Right now, what we're trying to focus on is the biggest boom, which is Pokemon. I believe there's like 10 Pokemons to every graded sports card right now. 10 Pokemon graded cards to 1 sports card, sorry. So that is a huge booming industry, and for us, we just constantly are trying to research and see what's the next big thing is or where it's going.
Do you have any concerns in terms of getting into something new, a new product line, knowing that there's this upward trajectory for Pokemon and the fear of it coming back down and what that might do to your business?
Yeah, I mean, there's fears all the time. I don't think it's something to, you obviously have to tread water with it, and take it very slow. But like we're still learning knowledge every day about Pokemon and still trying to learn new things. There's new products that come out like every week. It feels like I see people fighting in stores every day, selling them off the shelves. Like, so
I actually got a scar to show you.
so I mean, there is drivers behind that, but no, you can't live in the fear behind it, but just kind of learn and adapt with it, and roll with the punches essentially.
Great. Ali?
Consistency. That is the number one most important thing in my opinion. We stream at the exact same time every single day, 9 a.m., and we become part of our customers' routine. When it comes to comics, we've listed every single comic release for the past 4 years. Not 1 month has been missed. And so we're a consistent one-stop shop for our buyer base, and that's how we become part of their collecting needs on a daily basis.
On the live front, are there certain tactics or content that you utilize on a everyday basis to capture the audience every single time?
I think knowing who's coming into a room and building your show around them is the most important thing. I recognize my vintage buyers, I recognize my guys that want exclusives, and we kind of tailor the show based on the audience, not so much what we want to run every single day.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Got a question for you both, Darius and Ollie. So we've seen blind box phenomenon really take off. Everything from Labubus to trading cards to repacks and the rise in popularity. How has this really impacted how you're engaging your buyers and shaping your sales strategies? We're going to go and start with you, Darius.
Okay.
Let's start with you.
How many people are familiar with blind boxes? Show of hands. Mystery backs, repacks, anything like that? Okay, so a lot of you. That's a good, strong adoption. So that's one of the things I've been noticing. We're, for the most part here, there's a lot of Americans and a lot of American-based consumerism. And we have a bad habit of getting bored really freaking quick. And the more things that enter that space, the faster they enter, and the more brands that start presenting options and diversification and opportunity, especially when it gets obfuscated between companies that you're less familiar with and it's not a fully vetted and well-known brand, it starts to create uncertainties in that particular path. That being said, there are going to be people that excel. There are going to be brands with the right authenticity and the right sort of surprise elements. Like Labubu, for example, it's the hot item. We can't look around without seeing that be rip it and oh, you got the surprise one. That's great. I feel like mystery and repack items were originally at a price point where it was something that would be fun. You get a Lego minifig, you open it up, it's $10. Oh, cool, I got this. Once it entered the stratosphere of you're going after $20,000 items, surrounded by $10 items, and the opportunity for you to get this 20,000 item is diluted to 1,000 chances, and you have to spend that X amount of times. It opens up a lot of opportunity for people to get sucked into this new methodology instead of just, I'd like to go live and just say, I've got this really cool thing, and I know that you happen to like Marvel, I'd like to talk to you about it. So here it is. Or I've got this DC thing, or I've got this thing from an indie developer, whatever it is. But I do know there is fun, like in Pokemon. People want to rip a pack, they want to see if they got the special shiny card. People want to open it up, see if they got the Jaden Daniels, rookie 1/1 RPA. Whatever it is, got it. I just caution that the mystery packs have to go through some layer of authenticity to ensure satisfaction for the customer, an ARV that's commensurate with the price point of the product, which means how much money you're guaranteed to get back out of it, and some sort of safe haven to ensure that whoever's providing this has accountability for the product. That's it.
That's great. Same question for you, Ollie. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Same question, Ollie.
In comics, I feel like the blind bags, the blind packs are the future. A lot of sellers still view them as gimmicks or kind of hesitate due to it's a more upfront cost. You'll have to buy 4 or 5 different exclusives instead of just one. But they're driving explosive growth for us. Establishing yourself early as kind of the go-to spot for these blind bags can really set you apart from everyone else.
Yeah, I love that. I think, as both of you had mentioned, it's just establishing your brand as credibility is a real key factor.
Yes.
To be fair, the way he did blind bags, I love. It was done by DC. It was a comic repack of all modern books that came out, plus some historical stuff Jim Lee signed. It was done the best way you possibly could. if you're gonna do it right. But if there's anything else, like you heard my side, but
You did great. That was awesome.
Thank you.
That was good. Terrific. Awesome. So another question for both of you, Ollie and Darius, and we'll start with you, Ollie, this time. It seems collectors have increasingly diverse their interest from everything from perspective opportunities. What are some of the biggest areas you're seeing collectors branch out and shop different categories?
We're seeing a lot of crossover between comics, TCG, and even Funko Pops. A lot of people everyone has, if you're a collector, you probably have a display case at home, and you can put your first appearance of Venom with your Venom Funko Pop, and it becomes like a display piece. And that is starting to happen more and more often. And we noticed even when we were doing these Superman blind packs that he just mentioned, we had a lot of people from the TCG space come because it has the same kind of element where even if they can go on eBay and buy the exact comic they want, it's more fun to rip bags.
That's awesome. That's great. And same question for you, Darius.
Well, I would say that it comes back, I kind of answered it a little bit earlier, but in terms of where people's interests are, the biggest areas that are expanding into, it's exactly what Ollie's saying. People are looking to branch out. They got so niche down during COVID. They got so sucked into a certain collectible they knew upside down, left and right. There were so many things that were of interest, but they're right now branching out into, this is also analogous, I like it, but it's also something that I know is in demand from other places and I can exit out and get my money back. I'm seeing way more. If someone's going to spend money on a collectible and spend a lot of money, they are really sure that they can get out of it. Otherwise, they're top of the level funnel, beginner collector coming in spending at or around retail, regardless of the age of the product. If it's a $10 Funko and it's from 20 years ago, but it's not a Grail that I can disposition as a Grail, they're still going to pay $10 for it, regardless of it. So that's what I would say on that.
That's great. Obviously, those of you that were able to attend and watch yesterday, we had a great opportunity where we talked a lot about AI. So I'd love to get your opinion and insight on this as well, Ali. So we talked about it. I'm just curious, have you tried using AI tools on your eBay business, and what are some of those things that have really worked and impacted your overall business?
I use AI daily. ChatGPT has really become a part of my kind of daily routine. Whether it's like rewriting emails, even there's limitations on eBay. You can go back 3 years with Terapeak, but there's some items we get in that I can't find any credible data of any kind, and I'll use ChatGPT to find that source that will give me at least one singular data point so I can make an accurate price assessment. Graphics, there's so many different things you can use AI for, and it's really, if you're not using AI, you have to be using it because it saves so much time.
Yeah.
And time ultimately is money.
Yeah. And just a follow-up on that, how do you ensure that you're not losing that human touch by using AI?
Well, I think I always try to at least write out my own thoughts first so that it's not completely AI driven. And then I'll just use AI to kind of put all my thoughts together in a more elegant way.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. All right. Well, awesome. We're going to do some quick questions here, lightning round for all of our panelists here. So for each of you, I'd love for you to give me, just one short, quick, and powerful tip for all of our sellers, or even just those that are just starting out in the collectible space. What's something that you would provide them in terms of how they can grow their business rapidly?
Always do your best to stay sourcing. Be honest with your customers, deliver the best customer experience possible. One big factor that I think everybody could easily tap into in this room, and we definitely follow this religiously, is to use your eBay tools. eBay supplies you with tremendous amounts of reports, data points. You could find what age group everybody's buying from. There's so much stuff there. You should really get to know your customer, and the more you know your customer, the more successful you'll be.
That's awesome. Same for you, Ollie.
For me, it's discover. So whatever your collectible that you're into, whether it's comics, coins, toys, look at that category and figure out where are there deficiencies. Whether it's a certain inventory is lacking on eBay, or customer demand is really high, but there's not enough, product out there. Capitalize it and make that your kind of core identity. For us, when it was comics, we saw that there was a huge lack of pre-order for comics, and we dove head into having more pre-orders than anyone else.
That's awesome. What about you, Darius?
This part, just fair warning, my thoughts aren't sponsored by eBay. They're my own opinions or whatever. So this is just my personal opinion. I mean, don't put yourself in capital risk. Don't take out lines of credit or mortgages against your house, but take risks. The biggest thing that I saw in this inventory, in this space, again, candidly speaking, I've only been in the space for maybe 6-7 years as a professional salesman. I've been collecting my entire life. Before this, I was in medical. So there's not a lot of risk. There's too many people that are going to go, okay, I'm into it for 70%. It goes for this. I'm going to try and sell it for this. I'll start it at this. I'll do this. And you're micromanaging yourself to the point of oblivion. This might be more relevant in the live selling space where I can actually talk to you. I can tell you this is valuable because I say these data points and this is the condition and this is what it is. And I also happen to be passionate about this particular thing or whatever it is. But I'm also going to start it at $1. Current market shows it goes for about $2,000. You guys have been amazing with me. I'm going to give you back the opportunity to get a big win. I will take the risk with the customer. The reason you do that is you're bold, you take a risk, but you have to be memorable. If you don't do anything to become noticeable or memorable to the customer, they're never going to prioritize you over anybody else. It'll be a price battle. Who's cheaper than you? So do risky things within a certain range. And then to the last part of that is a complete dichotomy shift. Don't overextend yourself on capital thinking you're going to take a $20,000 buy and turn it into a $40,000 flip, and then you're stuck with the crunch corner of everything that didn't actually end up selling. So take risk, but calculated risk. Know what actually sells. There's eBay tools that are really effective at showing you sales velocity, and I know that this is the most important thing. What are you selling? If you're using AI, like Ali was talking about, scan it with Google Lens and look it up. It may not tell you what the price is, but I now know what it is. Go onto eBay, pull up the sales research tool, put it in there, see how many times it sold in the last 30 days, and see what the average sale price was. And you go, okay, cool. This thing, I see it listed for $1,000, but it sold 17 times in the last week for $700. Good, it's actually 700 in my mind. I don't care if there's one up for $1,000. That's what it sold for. If I can get into it for $550, and turn it around, or 400, whatever it is, that's something that I think will sell, and I'll recoup my cash flow, and I'll be able to go on to the next thing.
That's great.
Thank
I love
you.
that. Thank you so much.
To all of you.